Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Williams.
Hi, and welcome to New Life Live, and we are so glad that you've joined us today. As Terry had mentioned, this is Chris Williams. I'm in studio with Dr. Jill Hubbard.
Hello, Chris.
How's it going today?
Good.
Good. And I have JJ West.
Hello.
How's it
Can
going?
you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Yay.
Yay. We're all on.
The technology is working. That's fantastic.
It's hit or miss all throughout the day today.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're glad that you. But okay, so I'm already going to introduce the crisis. You ready?
Okay.
There's like 80% of us that have on the 4th of January that have already broken our resolutions.
Okay, that's why I don't do resolutions.
Right.
I do intentions.
Well, tell me more about intentions.
Well, I've talked
Jill.
about this before. I do intentions, and I meet with a couple of friends, and we talk about what we would like for the next year. Now, we've been doing this for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years now, so we have some that we roll over, right?
Yeah.
Because we had the best intentions, but they didn't happen.
Yes.
So then we evaluate, okay, why didn't they happen, or what deviated us from what we thought we wanted, right? And so we keep updating. So we kind of have these rolling intentions of what we would like to be more proactive about in our lives.
Yeah.
And then how can we reach those? And are those really things we want, or are those just ideals?
Yes.
Right? And so kind of a sorting out process of what are we intending for this next year?
I love that.
Now, sometimes life throws something new in that we weren't expecting at the beginning of the year. And so you adjust your intentions based on new information.
I like that.
So I like it more as a work in progress instead of I'm proclaiming this resolution and by January 4th, dang, I've already blown it.
There's that episode of The Office where Michael comes out and like, I declare bankruptcy. And they're like, yeah, that's not how that works. Right? That's kind of like our New Year's intentions, right? So, but really what we're talking about is change. And so change is so difficult and challenging. And so, JJ, what are the ingredients for us in making some changes in our lives?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I think are key. Number one is you've got to know and remind yourself of your why. It can't just be, I have this resolution to lose weight, eat better, exercise, get out of debt, whatever your thing is, right? There has to be a why. Why do I want to do this? Why am I making this commitment or having this desire, this expectation or intention? Why am I doing this? I need to know what that is and hold on to it. And then secondly, I need to break it down into measurable and manageable pieces. So rather than I'm going to lose 30 pounds this year, or I'm going to eat better, which that's so abstract, how are you going to know? Is you want to be very concrete and then break it down into, okay, so what do I need to change in order to make that intention a reality?
So then that's the how.
Exactly.
So I start with the big
Yeah.
umbrella intention, and then you start getting more specific, right? So if the goal is to lose weight, okay, but why? Right? Putting some meat to it, right? So that you get out of being vague and then they're just lofty ideas.
I think that is so important, because when we start with the why, that's the overall motivation. We have the how, which is a plan. Any change that we make is going to require a plan. And the last thing I would like to add is just a guide. For instance, that's what we do here at New Life. We have a nationwide network of counselors and coaches. We have intensives. We have this radio show. But let's just say that you want to get healthier. Lose It for Life is coming up this month. So you want to go online and you want to register today, because we will provide the why, the how, and the guide. And let us help you execute the change you desire.
We went to the Intimacy and Marriage in 2019. We were both done.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is done? New Life can help. We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life. Our Intimacy in Marriage workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy in Marriage workshop is February 16th to the 18th in Orange County, California. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to experience a new level of intimacy and have a great marriage.
The transformation phenomenal, and it's transformed our lives so much.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. As I mentioned right before the break, Lose It for Life Intensive is online January 27th. Again, the early bird rate's going to go through January 12th. Do not do like any other thing. JJ talks about this often with Every Man's Battle. That's coming up January 12th in Washington, D.C. If you have a struggle and you want to make a change and you have not been successful at it, it means that you need what the rest of us need, and that is a strong why, a plan, and a really good guide. Let us be your good guide
Support,
in that process.
Accountability, information, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, that's Lose It for Life Intensive, January 27th. And, again, we talk about this often, but if having a sexually unhealthy, broken, and damaging process in your life and is hijacking your life, do not let this go on any further. Every Man's Battle, January 12th in Washington, D.C. JJ, you'll be presenting there. And JJ, I want to jump into something really important and exciting. Coming up on Monday is what? What is this crazy, exciting, awesome news?
Da, 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 da. We are launching the Every Man's Battle podcast. We have been working on this for almost a year now. The idea has been percolating for longer than that, but we've been actually working, recording, preparing for almost a year now. And we are excited that it is finally launching next Monday. And there's going to be a new episode released every single week. And it's going to be an expansion of some of the things that we talk about at the Every Man's Battle Workshop Intensive. It's an expansion of some of those things. It's also going to delve into other areas that we simply can't get to at the intensive. But it's also a way to kind of reach out and draw, especially men. But it's not, the audience is not just men, but it's especially to draw men who need to be at the workshop and aren't sure if they should go. They're still on the fence. It's kind of a way to whet their appetite, to help them see
kind of like a sneak peek.
Workshop can help.
Yeah,
exactly. Because listen, we're unashamed about our promotion of the workshop, because the intensive, Every Man's Battle Intensive, because we believe that it helps. We have seen it change men's lives and families, couples over and over the decades that we've been doing the intensive. We know that it's helpful, and so we want to get as many men there who need to be there as possible. And we think that the podcast will be one of the ways to do that.
Well, yeah. JJ, it seems like that it has multiple purposes. One, giving people who have not been to the workshop a peek and giving them information to draw them in, but also the men who have gone. I just can't help but
100%.
think, in addition to our Sustained Victory groups, it's added support out there, because how many things do you have on sexual addiction really out there?
That's right. It's reinforcing those concepts. It's reminding, right? Because listen, on every given week, right, the world is coming at me, trying to get me to go back to my old way of living. And I need constant reminders of why and how I can stay on the path toward health. And so this is just one of those resources, because, man, when I'm driving to work, I can't pick up the book that I need to read. I may not be able to have the conversation, but I can put on the podcast, and 20, 25-minute commute into work, I can be reminded of what kind of man I want to be that day when I get to.
That's good. Yeah. And listen, as a person in recovery and for this struggle, the more resources, the more solid resources, as you're saying, Jill, the better.
Right.
It is a day in and day out, sometimes hourly process, and some days a struggle, a real struggle. And so the more support that we can get, the better. And so I'm so excited for you guys. You can find that where, JJ?
I believe you can find it anywhere you listen to your podcasts. My understanding is it's going to be launched on every platform that is available. But if you can't find it there for some reason, go to the New Life website, and we should have the link for it there. And I understand is it oneplace.com or one place? I forget what the end of that is, but one place would be an area where you can pick up the podcast.
That's great. That's great.
Well, it's going to be through Salem
oneplace.com.
Yeah, oneplace.com also. And you just type in Every Man's Battle if you want to listen online. But wherever you get your podcasts, check it out, Every Man's Battle. And so I'm so excited for you guys, but I'm actually more excited for the rest of us who get to tune in and listen and really embolden our recovery, or just learn a lot more about this really, really crucial and important issue that we're facing. With that said, New Life Live, you can listen through a local radio station. We're all over the country. If we don't happen to be in your area, we are, or you want to listen at a different time, you can listen online at www.newlife.com. Also, we stream through our app. And in the app, there's a podcast as well. And we are also on YouTube. So you can find us in just about any good technological location that is out there that will bring our voices to you. And we love for your voices to be brought to us. And so with that, we're going to go to Mona in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, listening on one of our favorite locals, WAVA. Mona, are you there?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Well, tell us what do you have going on today?
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for all that you do. It's truly a blessing. I'm pretty new at listening, but it's been a blessing. I really can relate with Michelle that I heard earlier and what she was going through. I have 4 adult children, my 3 daughters and my son. My son's the youngest. My 3 daughters are married with family and have grandchildren. What I'm struggling with, I made an intent. What young Jill said. When you make that intentional New Year, what I'm going to do, what I want to change, be a change. My last year was a change agent within my family to try to help remove the negativeness and the demonistic type of stuff that goes on when you're out in the world and you let that penetrate your family. So one of the things that I've struggled with is trying to be that change agent with my daughters to be better disciples within their family, so far as how they speak and what they speak out of their mouth. Because the word even give life or give death. And so I've been trying to do that, but unfortunately, when trying to do that, my youngest daughter has retreated completely, and I don't even know where she is. She moved her family and all, and because she's had so many different battles with her siblings, and I'm trying to fix. I'm a fixer at heart, so I probably overstep my boundaries, trying to fix things, trying to have conversations. She retreated and she's moved and she sold her home, and I don't know where she is.
Oh man!
So that's where it hurts the most. But I've been praying, and God has given me peace and said she's okay, and I need to turn that over to Him. And so with my 2 older daughters, they have their issues, sibling stuff, but my oldest daughter tends to be more over the top aggressive with her mouth when it comes to the battles that she has. And it's hurtful.
So Mona, let me jump in. So you have these struggles with, especially it sounds like your daughters, and you're trying to help them make some changes.
But trying, I feel like I'm over. I feel like I know I'm doing the right thing, but then I feel like I'm going my boundaries.
Yeah. So what would be the question for us that we can help you with?
So my question is, I find myself in these battles, especially with my oldest daughter. Her words are killing, hurtful, and it takes me to a different place, and then I retreat, and then. But I have granddaughters. And so how do I would like counseling for all three of us. But I've been in counseling, and it's helped me a lot, but it doesn't help me when I have to go back into the battle. And then how do I regroup? Because my this year's thing is I need to let go and take care of myself, because then I make myself ill, and mentally and physically, emotionally ill, trying to fight these battles.
Yeah.
And try not to. Their words are hurtful.
Well, Mona, first of all, I love that you're trying to do things different and that you're trying to make changes. But here's the thing with intentions. Our intentions are for ourselves. We can't create kind of New Year's intentions for other people. We can work on how we want to be different around people and be a better example, right, and engage them differently. But you talked about being a fixer. So you having this change of heart and wanting to turn over a new leaf, your daughters may not be in the same spot, and obviously they are not. And so you coming in like gangbusters trying to get them to change their negativity may be a losing battle, or just not the best approach. Right? So I think, but more along the veins of you working on you, and you're saying, okay, but then how does that help you in the battle? Well, that's part of the shoring up, is being prepared that they're going to still be who they are. And all you can do is invite them into a new relationship. You can invite them to go to therapy, but you can't force it. You can't decide we're all going to change now. Right? A lot of things have been put in place over a long time, but you responding differently to them can have a huge impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
And Mona, there's this thing this thing called the serenity prayer. And it's, right, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage. So I've heard it said this way. God, grant me the serenity to accept everyone else because I cannot change them. The courage to change myself because that's the only one I have influence over. And the wisdom to know the difference when it gets really messy.
That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good version. Chris.
Right.
Yes, I like that version.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah. JJ, anything to add here?
Yeah, it's so easy for us to get caught up in what is happening and the rightness and the wrongness of what is happening, and lose sight of the relationship with the person. It reminds me of the story in John chapter 8 where the Pharisees bring the woman caught in the very act of adultery, throw her down at Jesus' feet in the temple, I believe, in the courtyard of the temple. And, they snarl, right? This woman was caught in the very act of adultery. The law says that she deserves death, which is what the law says. That's absolutely true. The law says that. Now, it also says that the man should also be killed. He's not present for some reason. They only have her. But that's what the law says. And Jesus doesn't focus in on what she has done, which is wrong. He starts with compassion, because he says to her, once he's said to all of them, he who is without sin cast the first stone, and they all leave. He says to her, where are your accusers? Well, they're gone. And he says, neither do I accuse you. Now, he doesn't soften his stance on sin. He says, go and sin no more. But he starts with compassion. And so we want to make sure that our perspective when we're talking to those we love is accurate, that I'm not focused on the what before I've focused on the relationship with the person.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And that's why I can relate with Michelle who was on earlier, because I
called Tuesday.
I move forward and with that intent to just love and go in peace and love and forgive. I'll always do that first and foremost, but then I get chewed up.
I know. Well, here we'll come back. We'll say a little bit more about that right after the break, and so stay on, and we'll come back right after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hid with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I ended up getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and we've been talking with Mona, and she has 4 adult children, really struggling with her relationship with her 3 older children. I mean, her 3 daughters, I should say. And so, Mona, as we were saying, that it is important to be able to let go and to let go of the controlling types of behavior, wanting to change them. But
or
also,
the outcome. Let
outcome.
God deal with the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
But there is something that you had mentioned that I do want to address, and that is what happens when there is damaging behavior done towards us, mean or cruel words.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you want to be able to have boundaries around that.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, so
when you
because they use my grandchildren,
Yes.
Yeah.
They do. They weaponize the grandkids, which makes it really hard because you feel like a hostage, right, to their bad behavior. But I think sometimes just reflecting, when you say hurtful words, when you yell and scream at me, I feel hurt and it's hard to hear you. And I really want us to be able to discuss.
Yeah.
Right? Or when you resort to name calling, I'm going to have to remove myself.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can talk again later.
And Mona, my guess is that you're a little bit more on the sensitive side of the spectrum, what we call a highly sensitive person. And so what happens to us highly sensitive people is things hit harder and deeper. They cut more. And so you asked a great question. What do I do to recover? How do I get back? How do I not let those words stick and form and have influence inside of me. And I think there's a couple of things that you do is you want a really good network of friends around you that will allow you to offload those things and remind you of who you are, that you are not those words, you are not those things, that you are something different. But also put it in context. Context is really important, is that we really do, under stress and duress and, high intense situations, say things that we don't mean, that lack truth to reality. And so just knowing that your daughters are saying things in reactivity that ultimately, again, do not reflect reality.
Right. It's certainly not okay that they do that, but I think us moms, we usually get the worst of our children.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? We are the safest people for them to unload on. And so reminding yourself that your daughter or daughters are spewing out their hurt that's inside of them. And it might be when they feel backed into a corner, when they're overwhelmed, when they can't handle anymore, then the spewing usually starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I add one last thing?
Absolutely. Go for it.
So, Mona, I heard you in the background as Jill was saying some different things that you can do to establish boundaries for yourself. I've said that. I've tried that. I've done that. Okay. So one of the things I want to encourage you, I want to remind you is the boundary is for you, not for them. It's not to change their behavior. You have no control over changing their behavior. The boundary is for you. It's for you to acknowledge, okay, what you're saying to me is too hurtful and I need to take a break. I need to remove myself from the situation. It's not telling the person you can't speak that way. I can't control what you say or how you say it. All I can control is me and whether or not I'm going to stay in an environment where you are saying hurtful things to me. So always be aware of that when you're talking about or we're thinking about the different boundaries that you're trying to set up for yourself, that they are indeed for you, not for them.
Right.
You can't change their behavior.
Good clarification, JJ. So the saying it out loud is also for you. You need to hear yourself saying it.
That's right.
And even if they continue to spew, you're establishing that. And somewhere inside of them, they will hear it.
Right.
Whether they react,
whether they acknowledge it or not.
Whether they acknowledge it or not.
Different story.
Well, and I like to say you can hear my boundary or you can feel my boundary.
Right.
I recommend hearing it.
And sometimes, sometimes though people will reflect. I know with my own kids, later they'll come back and apologize. Now,
right.
And that I'm always grateful for that they reflected on it and they came back and said, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's really good. Well, Mona, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. I think that will be really helpful. I also want to encourage you that our Emotional Freedom Intensive would be a really, really good fit. That's online March 16th. Again, really accessible. I know it's a couple months out here, but there's so much that we get to learn about relational dynamics and our part in all of that. And really, to go back to the title, it really helps us take our own life back.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a great intensive to really, dive in.
Absolutely. Into
how we can be more emotionally free and what is keeping us stuck.
Exactly. Well, we have the Club New Life program that is so many resources. Just a library of videos, a monthly and quarterly resources, Club New Life download CD has news, teachings, highlights, and there's just, again, the library in our resources for Club New Life are extensive. So I want to encourage you to sign up. And if you sign up, you can be a part of our online Zoom January 16th, where Becky Brown will be presenting on change. And so there are these extra supports and resources that we give you by becoming a Club New Life member. You can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online, www.newlife.com, to become a Club New Life member. Hey, join the club. It is it's not as exclusive, but it is incredibly helpful. We'll be right back.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and we're going to go to a special call. We know how much a struggle with addiction in the family is, and so we're going to do a special segment here where we're going to go back in time, and we're going to play a call that Steve and Henry and John took on a family struggling with substance abuse and alcoholism in the family. So,
right, and especially here around the holidays.
Yes.
For us now, addiction often flares up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here is.
All right, let's jump over here to Amelia from L.A., California, KKLA. Hello.
Yes, hello. I have listened to you a lot, and I never thought that I would be calling you, but I'm glad that you're there. And I have a situation right now with my marriage. I've been married for 17 years, and this is my second marriage, by the way. And my husband, he was an alcoholic before I met him.
Okay.
He told me all the story, what happened, and he said that God healed him like it was instantly, that he stopped drinking.
Okay.
And so, but recently, about 2 weeks ago, I just learned that he was arrested by the police because he was drinking and driving. And this came it came like a shock to us. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she just thinks so highly of her dad. We've been, attending church for all these years, and she goes to a Christian school. And it's just that she just can't believe it. She does not accept it.
Okay.
And, when I confronted him because he didn't call me to go, help him. He called his sisters.
Okay.
And when I confronted him, I didn't do it right away because I thought, I just want to let it, cool down, like I would say.
All right.
And then I confronted him about 4 days ago.
Okay.
And he did not tell me the truth. What happened. He says he doesn't know. He just didn't see the police when they stopped him, and it was just an error. And and I told him, I said, you don't have to lie to me. You have to be truthful because I already know. I called the police. I called, and I verified, and I know that you were drinking and driving. Otherwise, they wouldn't have arrested you.
Right. Okay. So what's the question for us then?
The question is that, the main question is he does not want, me trying to help in whatever way. He became very aggressive and insulting me and telling me that I'm making this up. But he has changed over 6 months ago. He has become irresponsible, and he says he has a small business. He says the business is not good. There's financial problems, but the main thing is that my daughter, she is very, very, right now she's very hurt. She's very, I think she's going into depression. She starts crying and she can't because she heard that we are separating, and then she says that she cannot accept that, that her parents would separate. She never thought, she thought so highly about her dad, and that we have given her a good education, and she's too disturbed by this.
Okay.
So I don't know what to do with her. I have tried to talk to her, and I told her maybe it's the best thing that your dad will separate. He'll realize.
Hey, why don't we get him some help?
Yes.
Why don't we do that?
Okay. How do we do that?
Well, first you have to decide that that's the priority, and the rest kind of falls in place, when he gets the help.
Yes.
You connect with her, you help her understand, and then you call people that are used to getting help for folks who claimed they were delivered, and then they find themselves right back in the same mess. Have you talked to anybody who has dealt with alcoholics and how to get them to go into treatment?
No.
Okay.
I have not, because I'm not. I really don't know anyone who has.
Okay.
My family didn't know.
Well, if he had cancer, you'd be talking to cancer specialists, wouldn't you?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So we're going to help you with that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. Amelia, your husband is kind of the glue right now, and if he does well, your daughter does well, and she's in her launching periods of life. She's only got 3 years left at the home, more or less, and so she needs him to help her to launch out so she knows how to make good decisions and she'll be ready. And you need a husband that functions and loves you and is taking care of the finances and all this. So, yeah, Steve's right. He has got to get the help. We're going to leave you some resources for that. But the other part of that is I want you to tell her, well, after she's, if she can connect with you and if she's okay that she can listen to this, just tell her Mom and Dad are going to work out something. Kids that age, especially when they're on the way to coming out, they feel like the world's going to fall apart when Mom and Dad are doing this. So you just say, we're doing something. You will be taken care of. The last thing she needs is a fear that life won't be okay for her. Just to reassure her that.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I have tried that, but she kind of, she doesn't believe, and she's just she's so worried about her dad now. She's calling, and where are you? And, she's constantly worried about her dad. What is he, and what is he doing? And because, this, he used to come home late because of the business.
Then, Amelia, what you'll have to do with her is when she calls and then she's frustrated or scared because he doesn't respond, you be the one that makes sense of it. She gets off the phone, she's crying, she's upset, then you say, this is what we were talking about, honey. It's going to be okay because I'm going to do some things and try to help Dad. So you don't stop her from all those things. You be the one that interprets her experience so she knows a mature adult understands what she just went through.
Okay.
Over time, that always works.
These are just the most heartbreaking situations.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
And so what do we do when children are experiencing the addictions of their parents and the possible fallout, family
you hear
fallout
the daughter
from it?
Really panicking.
Yeah.
And John really expressing how much the mother needs to be a container for the daughter.
Yes.
Right? And it's hard because Amelia's going through a lot too, right?
Yes.
This husband has been able to keep it a secret.
Yes.
Which so many do. And it's surprising because they can just kind of slip it in the cracks, right?
Yeah.
Until those cracks start to leak.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Right? So it's probably been going on a lot longer than either of them are aware of.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. JJ, what do we do with children who are really struggling with their parents' addiction and the fallout from that?
Yeah, he did such a good job of expressing the fact that, you got to be a safe place for them, because their world feels like it's exploded. It feels like it's gotten turned upside down, and nothing feels safe and nothing feels right. And so you want to be, as the sober parent, if you will, you want to be a safe place for them, that even though this is painful, and we're not going to hide from that, we're not going to shy away from that, we're not going to pretend it's not happening. This is painful. It's heart-wrenching to watch someone you love make bad choices, but it's not going to be the end of the world.
Yes.
That God is still with us, that God still has a plan. It's the same God that we have served all along, who has said over and over that I will take all things, right? Not just the good things. I'll take all things and use them for the good of those who love me and are called according to my purposes.
That's really good. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the reassuring that she doesn't have to be the parent.
Yes, and she doesn't have to rescue her dad.
And it would be great. Like Alateen is such a great supportive group for kids who are struggling with these things. For mom to go to Al-Anon and daughter to go to Alateen, and often they have them at the same place.
Well, and there's so much here. One of the things, it's the unfair necessity. Here is the unfair necessity. It's that my spouse is struggling with an addiction, so I have to get help.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And that's a necessity because of the first principle of addiction is powerlessness. I can't change them. I can try to do everything I can to help them and get them the help that they need. But ultimately, the best thing I can do is find the support that I need to stabilize, to be that safe person and safe container for the children who are going to be really disrupted and be hurting. And so these are just heartbreaking things. Again, if you are struggling with an addiction, please let us help you. We have... If it's a sexual addiction, please check out Every Man's Battle. We're connected to treatment centers, interventionists, and counselors all over the country. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is our phone number. We have a call center. They will be there to help you get connected. You want to look at our online resources. That's www.newlife.com. And again, addiction is an incredibly powerful illness and an incredibly powerful destructive force, but it's not inevitable. It doesn't have to be determined. There is help, and so let us help you. And with that, we're going to go to a break here. You hear the music, and we'll be back right after this.
My life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. It's Chris Williams, Dr. Jill Hubbard, J.J. West, and we're about to be on with Sharon, listening in South Dakota. Sharon, are you there?
I am.
All right. Well, tell us what's going on with your life.
Well, I'm struggling with, it's just painful, but here we are. So I grew up in an alcoholic home. I'm the oldest, and my next sibling is 6.5 years younger. I'm like in my 50s now, and my mom is aging, and she's losing her memory. And here I am. I've went through a ton of counseling, and I feel like I'm just getting hooked with this codependency thing where I'm feeling extremely responsible for all these decisions that are coming with my mom. And I have to look at assisted living. I have to look at fighting through her long-term care insurance interview probably in the next week. And I'm just carrying such a heavy load emotionally and spiritually, and it roots back to the start of my relationship with my mom. My dad was the drinker, and my mother was, this helpless person who needed to be taken care of since I was a little girl. Mm-hmm. And it's extremely painful to come to terms with the fact that your mom really never did nurture you emotionally like you wanted her to. And your dad didn't either. And my dad died when I was 23 from a heart attack. So I've got 2 younger siblings. One lives in another state, and the other one's married to somebody extremely dysfunctional.
Yeah. So, Sharon...
So I'm kind of caught with most of the responsibility, and I am appointed both health and financial power of attorney.
Okay, and so what's the question for us?
How do I cope with this and letting go of some of this heavy over-responsibility? I don't know how to process this.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I've been a registered nurse for my whole career.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm in my 50s now.
So a professional care giver.
So
that you probably learned from your mom.
Yeah.
She was your first patient.
First patient. And you probably, and the problem, Sharon, with all of this is you're too good at what you do.
Yes.
The problem is that you're actually really, really gifted at taking care of things. And there's this term called parentification. You got parentified at a very, very early age, meaning a child takes on the parent role and they don't know how to get over there. So they become overly responsible, as you've said.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So let me start here, and then I'll turn this over to my co-host, is that I believe you're stuck behind a wall of grief that you haven't grieved yet. And it's this. The parents you were supposed to get, you never got. It's a strange loss. The mom that you were supposed to have, that's deep inside of you, the mom that encourages you and loves you and nurtures you, comforts you in distress, guides you and provides you wisdom when life gets really overwhelming and confusing, you didn't get that one.
Right. No, I'm very aware of that. I have went through a lot of mental health counseling already.
So,
and I mean,
hear me out. It's because this is not about knowing. This is not a head. This is not a head issue. This is a heart issue, because your heart is broken, and so we want to tend to the broken heart. This woman that you're caring for holds the title mom, but she doesn't hold the position of mom. And so It's not the burden, although it's a huge one. It's how you're carrying the burden. You're like, I've got to do everything right so this person is comfortable and happy and not miserable.
Or so maybe I will get something.
Maybe.
From her.
Maybe
I've longed for my entire life.
Maybe I'll get, I'm so proud of you and I love you and I'm grateful for everything you've done for me.
Sometimes we don't even know we have that expectation.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're good at caregiving, Sharon. You're a nurse. You've been doing this your whole life. This is just another patient that you're having to care for.
Exactly.
The difference is your childhood self is bound to her.
That's good.
Right? And that child inside of you is like, if only mom could do something to acknowledge me.
Yes. And if mom's okay, then I'm okay.
Yeah.
Instead of unhooking that and saying, mom's not okay, she never will be because she didn't get those skills.
Right.
But I'm going to be okay regardless.
Right. And in this parentified child, you're 6.5 years older than your siblings, right? So in a sense, they were off the hook. You were always the older one, probably that got handed things because of being that much older. And so they've probably grown up being trained to just sit back.
Yeah.
And they don't need to help because Sharon's got it under control.
Let Sharon take care of it. Sharon always takes care of it. Right.
So you're maybe more of a mom to them sometimes than your mom.
And Sharon, I want to challenge and encourage you with this. If you do something that doesn't work out, what does it say about you? Does it mean that you failed and that you're a bad person and that because a lot of times what we're trying to outchase is our own sense of shame. And I'm like, no, that you'll never outrun that. You just got to turn around and confront it and call it out for the lie that it is and be like, I've done what I can, and there's no one other than me and God himself that will be able to tell me, well done, good and faithful, and you've done enough. And it's enough.
It's ongoing work, right? So Sharon said, you said a couple of times, like I've done mental health counseling, I've done the work, but it's ongoing work because those neural pathways that got formed in your brain in your childhood, they stay there. They don't go away. And so there's always the opportunity to go back and use that old neural pathway. And so we have to do the work in an ongoing fashion. We need to look at those childhood wounds. I don't know if we have the ability to send her How We Love or if you've ever read How We Love, but I would think that would be a great place to start.
I know that book. My husband and I went to that conference.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Excellent. So Sharon, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And again, I'd mentioned this earlier, but I would also, as you're looking to get back into this work, and I would really be looking for someone who does specialize in something called adult children of alcoholics. And there are 12-step groups around that as well.
Yes.
And I would highly encourage you to join our Emotional Freedom Intensive in March. And it's on.
I already did that. I already took that.
Well, let's do it again. Let me give you a hint, Sharon. Every single year I do an intensive. For myself, every year. Yeah. Because it's just, JJ said my story incredibly well. There are things that got grooved into my being, neuropathways as a child that, listen, I look forward to heaven because they won't be there anymore and they'll be awesome. But on this planet, in this life, it's going to take ongoing work. And I'm a person that just happens to need those things.
Right. And when familiar things get stirred up, we go right back there.
Yep. Under stress, we regress. But we're so glad that you joined us. Everyone listening, we're so glad that you joined us. We hope that you have a great day. We hope your new year is off to a great start. And thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.